Roberto Ramon Show. Welcome, it's the Roberto Ramon Show, and I've just noticed um, in the news, I don't know if you guys have been following, but it says that the GOP delegates are planning to dump Trump. Now, what do I have to say about that? Well, first of all, it's insane. You know, you have a viable candidate. What do I mean by viable candidate? Well, Trump is not Mitt Romney. He's not he's not the type of candidate that doesn't inspire people anything. He's the type of candidate that people like. He connects with people, and these Republican delegates are just trying to basically stop the vote of the American people. The American people they've chosen Trump. And I know there's rules and all this other stuff, but there's something more to this. And what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is that they're basically trying to keep the powers that control our country in power. I'm not saying that Trump's going to change all that. He hasn't really said he has, but he's different, and he's trying to stop the political correctness that exists in our country today. So, getting rid of Trump, I mean, if they actually were to do this, or if they, I mean, it's actually this one female. What's her name is? Her name is. Let me find it here. Her name's Unruh. Her last name is Unruh. Kendall Unruh, and she has this idea that she wants to stop Trump from being the candidate. I guess in her mind is that she believes that Trump is just too outrageous to be a Republican, and that's the kind of mentality that's the reason why the Republican Party has been losing, and those are the type of people that we've been voting in. The type of people she wants to put in power, she wants to be elected or to become the candidate. That's who she wants to be as candidate. Is the type of person that that the Republicans have been voting in all these years, and who obviously do not care or don't really fight for the Republicans. They don't really fight for conservatism. They don't really fight for the American people, to be honest. And the Democrats don't either. They have. It's basically a power group. This is a power group that controls everything. And I mean, I don't know the name. I don't know the people are going to ask me, well, what evidence do I have that this group exists? And give me facts and reason. I don't need to give you facts. Just look at the stories, put the pieces together. You'll see what I'm talking about. There's a group. Just the way they act. Just the way they act. Look at the Democrats. They have a perfectly viable candidate, Bernie Sanders, who has all this socialist, everything that has to do with socialism. He's their guy. He's the guy that everything that they would want in a socialist candidate. That's what Bernie Sanders is, and you would think people would just go with him, but no. The whole system decided that no, from the very beginning, Hillary's their candidate. Who is Hillary? Hillary is more of the same. She's basically, I don't want to throw this word around too much because, some people might get angry at me, especially the people that are classical liberals, which, to be honest, I think I'm a classical liberal. But those people would be angry at me because they'll say, well, what are you saying with this word? Well, I'm going to say neoconservative. I'm going to say neoconservative because that's what she is. And, okay, maybe what some of the neoconservatives believe in, I might agree with. But when it comes to world control, or better yet, globalization, however you want to think of that. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with it because I think we've done more harm in the world than good, at least recently. I'm sure economically we've helped people get out and all that, but the problems we're having right now in the Middle East, let's be honest, that comes from the neoconservatives, a neoconservative think tank from the late 90s. Actually came up with all this. They pressured Bill Clinton, who did a little bit under, I think, believe it's called Operation Desert Fox. He, in the late 90s, bombed Iraq, but it wasn't enough for the neoconservatives, this think tank. So what they did is they pressured the next administration. Actually, they already had people in the administration, um, people like Donald Rumsfeld and our Vice President Dick Cheney were part of that group, this think tank, and you can look it up yourself. Look up think tank Bill Kagan, sorry, no, Robert Kagan and Bill Kristol. Look up these two people. They're the ones that are pushing this. They're the neoconservatives, basically the top neoconservatives in this country, and they were pushing this agenda to topple Saddam Hussein way before the weapons of mass destruction and all this other stuff that had come out in the early 2000s. They were pushing this. And the George Bush administration before Obama, he was a big part of that. His administration was full of these people. Now, has Obama changed a whole lot? No, he hasn't changed a whole lot of that agenda, to be honest. Um, I'm sure the neocons may not like him because they think he's not completely on their side, but he has really just hasn't changed all that much of the agenda either. So, will Hillary change it? No, of course not. Bill is a big part of that agenda. He's part of that, and really that agenda kind of started under his administration. Well, actually, no, before him, he just continued it. Don't think he's gonna change anything. Saudi Arabia, the Clintons are big on Saudi Arabia. They're big friends with Saudi Arabia. And I don't know all the details. I am not an insider, so I don't know. But let's be honest. If they're big with Saudi Arabia, if the Bushes are big with Saudi Arabia, then yes, they have the same agenda. You have to follow the politics. You got to follow what they say. You got to follow what they do, and then you can come about this whole idea that yes, there's an agenda. There's people in power, and they're controlling the scene. Now I don't know the name. I don't know anything. It's so secret. I don't know. So, but I mean, anybody who just looks at what these people do and what they actually actions they take in the world and for our economy and for the world affairs, you would expect that yes, there has to be somebody controlling things because both Democrats and Republicans have acted the same way around the world. Now, do I think that Trump will be any different? Well, honestly, I don't know. I think Trump has figured out that political correctness, which is another agenda, which comes from my thinking comes from a socialist Fabian mentality of gradualism, of changing this country gradually. Um, which what is socialist Fabianism? I'm not going to go into too much stuff here, but what is socialist Fabianism? Well, it's basically you have Marxist socialism, which is basically you change society right away, violently, and quickly, and then you have your perfect society, or you work to do that. You have like a dictatorship, and then you have a perfect society. Well, social